Welcome to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. Tonight we have an amazing show for you guys. I have a great panel for you guys tonight, so let's get started.
Welcome to Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk, the fastest growing sports talk show in the country. And now, here's your host, Jasmine Pollock.
Hi, welcome back to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. To start the night off, as you guys know, the breaking news that came out of Florida is that the Gators have fired Coach Dan Mullen after 4 years of being the coach there. And of course, as a Gators fan, I'm a little disappointed, but there's a lot going on. We weren't playing well. I think, dropped 6 games. So I want to start with you, Cole. I know you don't really pay attention to the Gators that much, but I know you said before that they weren't playing well. So what was your reaction to us firing our coach, Dan Mullen?
I mean, if you're not going to play well, coaching is one of those jobs in any sport that there's always a clock ticking as to when a coach might get fired, as to when they might, step away. But that clock is always ticking. Coaches always hit an expiration date. Every coach does. That's just the way it works. So I'm not surprised that he was fired after they weren't playing well. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were playing in the SEC championship game last year. Mm-hmm. But they weren't having a good season.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, I think the biggest thing that I was a little frustrated with the team was our defense. Gators used to be one of the best defensive programs in the country. And even though we hired Dan Mullen and improved our offense, it was a sight for sore eyes to see the offense start clicking again. But guess what? The defense fell off terribly. So it was a big problem. To me, I thought our biggest issue was our coach, which was Todd Grantham. We fired him a couple of weeks ago, but I just felt that the offense was not clicking, and then it just went downhill from there. And Dan Mullen was our offensive coordinator when Tebow was there when we won those championships. So it's a little disappointing because, I still had some hope that he would do things if we added more recruiting or had better recruiting and a lot of different things like that. But I think that would be a very good candidate because I see what he's doing right now with Ole Miss, and Ole Miss's offense is clicking. But does he really want to stay? Does he really want to come to the Gators and do stuff like that? It's very interesting because Lane Kiffin has a big resume. He was the offensive coordinator for Alabama for a short period of time, but obviously him and Nick Saban butted heads, and he went to, I think, Florida Atlantic, and then came back and went back to the SEC. And came back to coach for Ole Miss. But for me, I want, as a Florida Gators fan since forever, I want us to get back to winning fashion because I'm starting to see the same trend going on with a lot of Florida teams. You see FSU, they're starting to win some games, right now. But it's sad to see that your top Florida teams, the teams that we know that are juggernauts and have been at the top of the leagues for so long, it's sad to see that the Canes, FSU, and Gators are not playing to the standard how they're supposed to be playing, because I feel like a lot of kids are getting out of the state. A lot of the top recruits that you're seeing that are coming out of Florida, they're not staying in Florida. They're going to the big schools like the Ohio States, the Michigans, of course, the Alabamas, the Georgias. So it's going to be a very big deal. But Cole, back to you. What do you think it needs to happen in order for Florida teams to get back to that winning status, how they once were?
I think it all comes down to recruiting and having the coach that can recruit. That's a big deal with college sports. It's all about recruiting. It's about development of players. And if you look at some of those teams like Alabama, like they can attract those big name high school athletes to come play. And that's just the way how it is. I mean, that's really not going to change to me, is that Ohio State, Alabama, and all these big schools are going to be able to recruit. At the end of the day, it's about recruiting. You have to be able to recruit good players to return to that winning culture.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope that that happens soon enough. So I'm really excited to see what the Gators will do. I'm looking forward to next season. I don't expect us to win right away. I hope we make a good candidate, but we'll be right back. We're going to be back on a short break. So we'll see you guys right back here on Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What will we do without it? You're watching Jasmine Pollock's First Impression Sports Talk. Stay in touch with Jasmine on her social media channels to see videos, featured guest interviews, and much more. Find Jasmine on LinkedIn by searching Jasmine Pollock. On Instagram, it's at GameSpace_sports. And you can find Jasmine on YouTube by searching GameSpace Sports Content. First Impression Sports Talk airs each Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see the show live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. If you missed the live show, we have you covered. A recorded version is always available on social media. And now, back to more First Impression Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk. And to wrap up the night, we're going to get into some NFL talk. So, Cole, we talked about this. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Chargers. What's your reaction? Just let it all out.
That's really my reaction. I don't think the Steelers are very good. I don't understand the game plan at all. So we're playing the 32nd ranked run defense in the NFL. We ran the ball to Najee Harris about 12 to 14 times. How does that make any sense? I don't understand that. The offensive line played terrible. The defense really didn't play that well the whole game, except a couple of shining moments. All I'm going to say is I think Cam Hayward is a pro. He's very good at what he does.
I agree.
But yeah, I thought they played terrible. I mean, I think Matt Canada's a terrible offensive coordinator. I don't think Mike Tomlin's a very good coach. I know we're all going to talk about what his regular season record is and how he always has a winning season, but what have they done in the playoffs? If you can't win in the playoffs, does any of that matter? Because I don't think it does. The playoffs are where you're going to win your hardware. And as being in Pittsburgh, that is a sports town, people want winners. That's all we care about here. We just want winners. But I thought they played a terrible game. The defense played bad. And I don't understand. But also, my next point is the officiating. So, Cam Sutton and Najee Harris got targeted to the head. Now, is that now legal? Because I'm pretty sure it isn't. So they need to throw the flag on that play. But it doesn't surprise me because NFL officiating has been terrible all season.
And I agree with that sentiment 100%. The officiating has been terrible, but back to the Steelers are one of those franchises, one of the great franchises in this league. I mean, they have like Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer, great defenses, great offenses. And it's really sad to see how they look right now. I mean, it's just, they look lackluster. And I agree with you. I think they have a lot of good weapons on defense. They have a lot of good players, but they're not as a whole playing well. Offensively, I was one of the big advocates. I thought the Steelers' issues last year was just the running game. But right now, you have Najee Harris, and Najee Harris is a great back, but the O-line isn't good. I mean, you can't really have a good running game if the O-line is not good to protect Ben, protect the running game, and give him lanes. But for me, and I'm going to say this, I think it's time for the Steelers to move on from Ben Roethlisberger. I genuinely do believe that, because I feel like Ben has slowly been on a decline. He has not been the same Ben Roethlisberger as we've seen him of old. And I feel that right now, and they have a lot of young receivers that I feel like can play, but Ben is not the answer. And I even talked about this a while ago when Lamar Jackson was in the draft. I thought the Steelers should have grabbed him. I genuinely did, especially with, Le'Veon Bell and those guys. I think that's when he was still there. And I feel like that offense would have really went well with how Lamar plays right now with that offense. But they wanted to stick with Ben. I understand that. But Ben needs to go. I think that's what needs to happen. Mike Tomlin, I know that the Steelers franchise, they don't like firing coaches. I think they let coaches leave or retire. But it's going to start. Those fans are going to start talking. I can hear the Steelers fans talking now about, okay, well, I get it. He has winning seasons, but it's not getting us championships. When you're talking about the Steelers are a championship franchise. They're not about just going to the playoffs and, we lost the game. Okay, we'll just come back next year. No, they want to compete. That's what the culture is there in Pittsburgh. So it's very frustrating to see that the Steelers are playing like that. It's not a good look, especially against, like you said, the 32nd ranked rush defense, and you ran the ball that many times. It's shocking to me. But do you agree with them getting rid of Ben Roethlisberger? Do you think Steelers should move on from him?
Yes. I have a lot of respect for Ben and what he's done as a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's been phenomenal. But at the end of the day, every player is always going to get told you can't play the child's game anymore. So it's that same quote from Moneyball. And to me, I think that time has come with Ben. I thought he played well last night. But I just think it's Ben's time to, hang up the cleats and call it a day. But it wouldn't surprise, like he could come back. I don't know. The only one that knows is Ben Roethlisberger. But to me, it wasn't his fault about the game last night. It was the offensive line. It was game plan. Mike Tomlin didn't coach very well. And, the defense didn't play very well. And I don't want to hear about injuries and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, that means guys have to step up. You can't make an excuse all the time about injuries. Oh, we lost this game because of injuries. That means somebody has to step it up. That's just the way how it is. That's how sports are. You have to be able to fight through adversity. And, I thought the Steelers actually deserved to lose that game last night.
And I agree with that when you talk about injuries, because I know my Packers, they're decimated with injuries now, but still, there's still a level of next man up mentality. You have to prepare all your guys. It's not just the starters. You have to prepare all of them, because you never know what could happen in that game. And that's very important. But I want to go to Dallas. Now, Dallas is my least favorite team. I do not like Dallas, but they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday, 19-9. And there's always hype around Dallas when they win a couple of games. Oh, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to be the best team in the league. They're going to be the best team in the NFC. What is your take on Dallas right now as we're speaking? And heading into next week, do you think Dallas is an elite team?
Yes. I do think they are an elite team. They have a great offense. They were very lackluster on offense yesterday. They've had 2 of those games the past 3 weeks, but they still have so much talent. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, their line's back. They are so talented as a football team. They are very fun to watch on offense. I think CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver. Amari Cooper is a great receiver. They are both playmakers. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many weapons on that offense. Same thing with Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is a good tight end.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dak has targeted him. But I think Dallas is still a very good team. My defense still concerns them, but to me, that's an easy win. I think they're going to easily take home that division from what it looks like. All
Yeah.
their defense has to do is just play competent. They don't have to do anything spectacular, and that offense can just roll through teams because they're just that good.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I think when it comes to Dallas, I think the ceiling for them is the division. Like, I've watched Dallas for so long, and like I said before, I don't like them in general, but I feel that right now they have a lot of talent on offense. I think they say that it's the number one receiving core in the league right now, if I'm not mistaken. They're even over that Bucks team. So it's very interesting to see that they're able to roll that way with all those weapons. But my thing is with Dallas was Mike McCarthy, because I know what Mike McCarthy's about. I know what he was about. Was he the right fit? Because there's still question marks about him. Was he the right fit for this team? And can he motivate this team? And he's an offensive-minded coach. It's not like he's a terrible coach. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. But it's just, will he get that team over that hump, or will Dallas make that next leap? Because we've always seen them, they have great talent, they make it to the playoffs and then lose, or they win that division and they lose. And they haven't won a Super Bowl or haven't been since the 90s. So, I mean, I'm sure that fan base is like, okay, when are we making it over that hump? And it's a tough conference. The division, I think they have the division, but the conference is going to be very tough. But do you think, was it yesterday, was it the Chiefs are starting to make a run, or they're starting to make a comeback, or was it Dallas having a letdown game?
I think it can be a little bit of both. I didn't see the whole game, just being completely honest with you. But Kansas City, I don't think played fantastic either. I mean, Mahomes to me has been very lackluster this whole season, even though I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. His talent is just unbelievable. I mean, he makes throws that are just incredible. But I haven't been too impressed with Mahomes, obviously, but I think it can be a little bit of both. Of maybe the Chiefs are coming back, but I really don't know with the Chiefs, just because their offense has not been firing on all cylinders like they have been the past couple of years. And Dallas might be coming back, to coming back down to earth, but I think time's going to tell.
I agree with that, but we'll definitely see. I think it's going to be, I've seen yesterday, we saw a lot of the top teams lose yesterday. So it's going to be very interesting to see, who's at the end. Cause I think this has been a very weird season altogether. So I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen. Who's going to win what division. It's going to be very exciting, but that wraps up tonight's show. Cole, thank you for being on my show. I'm hoping to have you on here again. It's always good to have a conversation with you. That wraps up tonight's show. Thank you guys for giving your support. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Jay, for the production. We'll see you guys here on Jasmine's First Impression Sports Talk at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night.